Once in class, a small lie, a big lesson. What this story teaches. We all do embarrassing things when we're frightened. Often, the fear of being exposed, of being called on, tested, or judged makes us act in ways we later regret. This little tale shows how a nervous attempt to avoid a tiny task can quickly spiral into a far bigger, funnier embarrassment. It's a gentle reminder. Honesty, and a little bravery, usually saves us more trouble than clever tricks. I was terrified the teacher would call my name. It wasn't that the subject was hard, it was that I hadn't studied the previous lesson, and I knew, with a sinking feeling in my stomach, that if the teacher asked me to recite, I'd be lost. The thought of standing up, fumbling, and hearing the class whisper made my face go hot. So before class started, I did something ridiculous. I took a sheet of paper, crumpled it into a large, lumpy ball, then tucked it into the corner of my mouth so that one cheek puffed out like a small balloon. It was obvious to me that a swollen cheek would make the teacher think I had a toothache or some pain, and surely she would excuse me from answering questions. I practiced my groan in the corner of the classroom and watched the clock. When the teacher began calling names and asking about last week's lesson, I sat very still, clutching my pencil, holding the lump of paper tight between my teeth and the inside of my cheek. When she came near my row, I pushed my cheek out a little more and tried to look as miserable as possible. "Are you all right?" she asked, leaning forward. I croaked, "Oh, my tooth, it hurts so much." She looked concerned. My classmates began to murmur with sympathy. I felt strangely proud. My plan was working. I wouldn't be called to recite. I kept my paper ball in place and stared straight ahead, trying not to smile. It felt a little awkward, but everything seemed under control until a friend across the room shouted, "Hey, look! His cheek moved! Now it's puffed on the other side!" The classroom erupted into laughter. Heads turned, the teacher's eyebrows knitted together. My paper ball had shifted while I was speaking. Maybe I swallowed the wrong way. Maybe I turned my head. Whatever the reason, my fake swelling had suddenly jumped from one cheek to the other, and the trick looked obvious and worse, silly. I dropped the paper into my hands, cheeks flaming red. The teacher smiled, trying to hide her amusement, and said gently, "No need to fake it. Please come to the front when it's your turn." I wished the floor would open up and swallow me. After class, as I walked home, everyone joked about it. At the time, it was humiliating. Later, it became one of those embarrassing memories I now laugh about. A ridiculous stunt born of fear and the hope of escape. The only thing I gained from stuffing that paper into my mouth was a loud lesson. Trying to dodge a small duty by deception makes the problem worse. If I had simply admitted my unreadiness or even asked for a moment to gather myself, I would have avoided the whole spectacle. Next time you feel the urge to hide or pretend, take a breath, speak up. It's far less painful than a paper ball in your cheek and a classroom full of giggles.